Hello everyone, this is Mortym, and today I'd like to talk to you about the year ahead for Elder Scrolls Online. They recently published an article detailing all of the big things they plan on adding in this year. And the first of those things is the focus on the social aspects of the game. For instance, on the consoles, it feels like a very empty game. I mean, it's an MMO still, technically, but it feels like that not at all. On the PC, that's naturally not the case. It's simply easier because you have a keyboard you can type with, things like that. But that is going to be their focus nonetheless, and they're going to do that by improving the looking for group system, which is more or less impossible to find a group with, as well as continuing all of their level scaling. As it stands currently, when you enter a DLC area, it will scale you using their battle leveling system, and they plan on adding that to all future DLCs. They're also planning on adding in a looking for guild system. Now, moving on to their DLC plans, they have the Thieves Guild slated for Q1. It is supposed to enter the public test servers in early February. It's supposed to add some new gameplay elements, but for the most part, I'd say they're already in place. When they added the justice system in, I'd say that's probably most of what we're going to be seeing in the Thieves Guild DLC in terms of actual gameplay elements. That said, they are also fixing a bunch of stuff. They haven't said specifically what, just that it was a lot. They were updating some things as well as fixing some of the bugs, adding support in for 64-bit clients, and they're doing all of that with the Thieves Guild DLC slated for Q1. The second DLC they are planning on this year is the Dark Brotherhood. Couldn't be more excited for it. It's going to be amazing. I love those quest lines and all of the single-player titles. It is going to take place in the Gold Coast of Cyrodiil, which is around Anvil and Kvatch. Of course, it is going to add some new gameplay elements in. It would have to. Those quests in ESO would just be ridiculous with the game system the way it is now. So I'm interested in seeing how they're going to do it, how they're going to pull that off. But moreover, they were focused on the Thieves Guild. They did not say too much about the Dark Brotherhood, but it is slated for Q2. They will have more details on it later. They also said they have even more DLC planned to be beyond the Dark Brotherhood, but that it was simply too far ahead to even really talk about at all, so they didn't really focus on it. Now, the biggest thing about the Dark Brotherhood DLC is that they're finally going to be removing the VR ranks, the veteran ranks, completely from the game. And it's going to be replaced by a system that's already in the game known as the champion system. And it's going to change over to a champion rating, is what they said, which is essentially just the champion point level that you've reached. So if you have 150 champion points, then your champion rating would be 150. And I think that's important because if I had to guess, if I had to speculate here, I think they're going to take that rating and then replace the veteran rank requirement on gear with that rating requirement. I could be wrong, but I kind of feel like that might be what they're leaning towards doing. Some other things they wanted to mention is that they're going to be adding scrolling combat text, nameplates, player housing, which I thought was interesting. That's weird, but they are planning on adding it. They said they would have more details on all of that later after they get these DLCs done with. But I don't know, I'm kind of mixed about the player housing. It can be enjoyable, but at the same time, in a lot of games, it's just weird, and I don't really care for it. But whatever. They're also adding a character customization shop, which will allow you to change your gender, your race, all of those different things. They'll definitely add that to the Crown Store. I just can't imagine why they wouldn't. But I kind of expected to see that one sooner or later, so it's of no real surprise to me that it's finally going to be in there. Now, some other general things, and the biggest one by far, is that they are not adding the PvP elements to the justice system. So originally, when they added it was added in with the concept that they were going to be adding the option to join a guards guild, more or less, that would allow you to attack players who were caught stealing something and therefore had a bounty on their head. You could go collect that bounty. They got rid of it. You can't do that anymore. And it's not, well, you couldn't do it to begin with. But now it's not even in the plans. They're not adding that in ever. So that sucks. It would have been fun, but they said they just couldn't make it work the way they wanted, so they just got rid of the idea. But it's also worth noting that the spellcrafting thing they talked about is still happening just not this year. Which is unfortunate. They just said that it was such a cool system, and if you don't know, the spellcrafting system that they were planning on adding in Elder Scrolls Online is the option of crafting your own spells, obviously, but it would allow you to give yourself skills that you might not otherwise be able to get otherwise. It involved like rune stones, and then you would like add them from like secret areas or something around the world environment. They gave a few details on it, but they were never too terribly specific on what they had. But that said, that system is still coming in some form or another, just not this year. Lastly, they're going to be working on their player versus player servers. If you get into large-scale fights right now, you can have problems with being able to see everyone, lag, and they're just going to be working on those issues moving forward. And with that, guys, we have covered every major thing that the Year Ahead article covered. I will be covering most of them, especially the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood. I don't PvP too much in Elder Scrolls Online. I like to do it in other games where it's just a little more jump and go. But if you're looking forward to my coverage on any of those things, then please subscribe. But thank you so much for watching either way, and I hope you guys have a great day.